Hello there, my beautiful souls. I am Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Are you ready to take your spiritual journey to the next level? Introducing Danyell's Astro Tarot Elite Club, your exclusive getaway to daily insights, cosmic guidance, and so much more for just $4.99 a month. As a member, you'll receive daily readings designed to align your day with the universe's energy. Start each day with clarity and confidence. Do you need a personal reading, or do you want to have your astrology chart read fully? With being a member, you also can enjoy exclusive discounts on all my offerings just for our elite members only, all for just $4.99 a month. That's less than a cup of coffee. Join Danyell's Astro Tarot Elite Club today and elevate your spiritual path. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. And get ready because we are going to talk about the Aries Full Moon. And it is in a grand cross. I will explain what that means if you don't know what that means. So we are sparking some major energy. Also politically, this is going to affect Kamala and Waltz and Trump. JD, maybe a little bit. But yeah, this full moon is big and saucy for a lot of people. So buckle up. Also, Venus is going to enter in the sign Sagittarius. If you want the tea, if you want to know how this is going to affect everyone, then get ready because you are at the right place. Okay, so here are the dates this week that we have. October 14th, which is today. We have the sun squaring Mars, the sun trining Jupiter, Venus opposing Uranus. October 15th, I see there's a typo if you're watching this, but Venus is going to trine Neptune. On the 17th, that is when we have the full moon in Aries. I'll give the exact time if you want to know the time. I'll look it up right now. Venus is going to also enter Sagittarius, and on the 21st, Mercury is going to trine Saturn. We got some great trines. They're very positive overall for this week. The major juice and the major tea of the week is, of course, that full moon in Aries, because it's just not a regular full moon. It is have some opposition, some major oppositions here. As I film this is when we will have a helicopter hovering over us. Okay, so I'm going to start first with October 14th. And actually, I'm going to pull up the chart. And we are going to start on today. I didn't do any current events. I will do the current events and tie it to astrology tomorrow. And I will also tie that into the horoscopes for the full moon and Venus entering Sagittarius. So look forward tomorrow with that. Same time, same place. Okay. Now, the helicopter is annoying me. You guys probably can't hear that, so that's really great. Okay, so on the 14th, the sun in Libra right here is going to square Mars in the sign Cancer. Now, this would be the full-on square, but this square will also still be bothering us during that full moon in Aries, okay? But we'll get into that a little bit later. But what you need to know as of Monday, as you are feeling this, you're talking about your drive and your ego in the sign Libra, which is dealing with harmony and partnerships and your team, okay, and balance, which is same as harmony, I guess. And it's not getting along, and there's some challenges in how you pursue things or how you pursue things at home. Remember, too, I want you to understand that Mars is in a pre-shadow retrograde phase. So things are quite not working as well. Maybe when it comes to your mom, or maybe when it comes to your home, or where you feel safe, or something dealing with your past. But with this challenge, the square, as of today, you can have tensions between being assertive and your desire for harmony, because Mars is you being aggressive, you being assertive, you being having the energy to do something and to pursue something. Okay, there's emotional sensitivity. At the same time, there is a reactive energy that's probably not reacting very well. Conflict between personal needs and social expectations. Risk of passive aggressive behavior. Venus is very passive aggressive. Not Venus, Libra is very passive aggressive. My oldest both of my daughter is a Libra rising, my oldest is a Libra moon, and they were like, oh, what can you tell us, like, how do we get angry, even though I tell them this stuff all the time. And I was like, you guys are both passive aggressive. And the youngest for sure was like, yes. The oldest was like, well, how am I? And I gave her example. She was like, yes. Anyway, it's just, I can relate and I understand. Okay. So with this, you can be passive aggressive and creative tension and motivation could be a thing too, because Libra energy is creative and it's into arts, and Cancer is creative. All the water signs are creative, and there could be a challenge there. Now, this also could be some power struggles because you're talking about both the sun here and that Mars, they both want to get and achieve something physically, both very masculine energy, and they really want to get something. And when you want to get something and there's a challenge, that is some major power struggles, all right? Or maybe even competitive energy here. Influences on relationships could be a challenge, the relationship of a partner. This makes me think of the VPs, which I will discuss later. Any type of team, any type of partner. Libra also represents women. I do want you to understand that. And aesthetics, women, aesthetics, beauty, art, all of that. And it's a challenge with you from something from your past, something where you feel safe, something from your home. Okay. Also, it can represent your ancestry too, Cancer energy. Okay. So that is what we have with this. And this is also going to affect all my cardinal signs. So, of course, if you have Libra in the late 20 degrees, and also if you have Cancer in the late 20 degrees, but then you're also dealing with all the cardinal signs. So you're dealing with the Aries is squaring with you in the late 20 degrees, and also Capricorn in the late 20 degrees. Okay. Now, on that same day, the sun at the same time is trining Jupiter. This is very, very positive. Okay. And this was more yesterday, but we're still feeling it today. Okay. And that trine again, it's very positive, complete opposite of the energy that you're feeling, a little bit more with the aggressiveness. But now there's some optimism. Now, Jupiter is retrograding. So this is something that is repeated, maybe repeated within a relationship, or something dealing with your inner peace, or something also dealing with law. Okay. But there's expansion with connections and positive relationships. You're very optimistic. You could have a positive outlook. Maybe you're learning something new, or learning something that's very intellectual that deals with growth and expansion, or growth within a relationship, or growth within an aesthetic of some sort. Opportunity for self-reflection and personal growth, creativity and intellectual inspiration, boost of confidence and charisma, harmony between the individual and the collaboration. Okay. Now, when you have these two air signs, you're dealing with communication across the board. So communicating is going to work really good with this energy if it hasn't already. Anything dealing with networking, communication, and socializing is really great when you're dealing with air signs. Okay. Now, the sun is also at the today. It's opposing Chiron, and Chiron is the planet of healing. So you're trying to pursue something, but there's something that can't see eye to eye with the healing of self, the healing of one person, the healing of something new also is a challenge with that. Okay. Balance and harmony, not producing well with the healing of self is what I have in my notes. Just always have to say my notes. Also, this same day, Venus, which will soon be entering Sagittarius, but Venus is opposing Uranus. Okay. Right away, I just think of support and social media not really working well. Now, Venus is in a sign Scorpio. Scorpio is all about the secrets and intensity. It's a water sign, so there's emotions involved here. Uranus is all in a sign Taurus. It's retrograding, so the surprise, which Uranus normally represents, may not be the best surprise. Okay, or maybe it's too shocking. Okay, yeah, but you have this Uranus in the sign Taurus, which is dealing with your finances, could be dealing with whatever you deem valuable. Okay, even food. Okay, now bad surprises, maybe with a secret love affair. This is also money energy. Scorpio, it's all about money that you owe, or money that you're sharing with someone. And this is about money that something that you think valuable. So whenever I see these two, this axis working against each other, I always think about finances and money. Yeah, but it could be positive at the same time. We have this opposition, but it's very positive when it comes to Neptune, because here is sextile. So the surprise could bring some love or compassion. At the same time, it's trining Venus. Venus is the planet of money and what you naturally attract. I want you to be aware of this. And when it's trining, that means you don't have to do any work. And it's trining Neptune. And when you have that trine, that means you naturally attract love, you naturally attract support. This is a planet that is going to sacrifice things. And maybe there will be someone who's sacrificing something. It's in the sign Pisces, and Pisces is double whammy Neptune because it's already home there. So a lot of giving, a lot of self-sacrificing, a lot of endings of something that's very positive, like a closure of some sort. Okay. Also, this is dealing with major intuition. Here you're talking about these two water signs. Pisces is very intuitive. Scorpio can feel it without saying a word and can feel the deception of something and can navigate and investigate, really is the word I was trying to think. Anyway, but that energy is more tomorrow, but it is still, you feel it today, and it's a part of this opposition that you have here. Yes, in a positive way. Okay. So, but there's intensity and freedom today with that opposition of Venus opposing Uranus. So, you want your freedom, maybe in relationships, but then there's intensity and it can't see eye to eye. Okay. Maybe there's a sudden shift. Maybe there's like a deep bond that's happening and you want to break free from some type of restrictions. Usually this is impulsive energy and it's sudden changes and it's involving some type of security. Okay. But maybe there's a desire for change and excitement because Uranus wants the excitement, especially an excitement in something that they value. So excitement, and if you value, if you're a singer and you're like, I want to sing on a stage, and you have me singing in this nightclub, I want to try new things. It could be something with that, and someone is trying to control how you are or what you deem valuable. Unpredictability when it comes to love and finances, because remember, I said this is a money situation. So there could be something or fluctuations or surprises, maybe impulsivity. Maybe your partner is spending money and you're like, what? Why are you spending money? Okay. There also could be a breakup of some sort or upheaval with any kind of relationship, not just relationship with love, but relationship with any kind of partner, business partner, especially when it comes to money, right? And money that you guys share together. But it's all about individuality with this too, because Uranus wants to be an individual, it wants to be different, it wants to be out of the box. And maybe this relationship or this woman, because Venus could represent a woman or a team, is trying to control you and your individuality. Okay. Tensions between stability and transformation, a catalyst for growth and awakening, because you do have this change, you do have this awareness that you're not seeing eye to eye, and that can make you feel stuck. And that stuckness can make you say, you know what, I need to change. Okay. It could be potential for being emotionally overwhelmed. Venus is in the sign that is dealing with some deep, intense emotions. It doesn't want to deal with anything surface. It wants to get beyond the surface level. And so you could be very emotional, and you could be doing this online because Uranus wants to communicate it and put it out there, out in the universe, and it could be very spontaneous. So be aware of that. I find that Uranus is dealing, whenever we have Uranus with social media, it's really big. So a lot of social influencers could be impacted with this too. Okay. Now we have Venus on the 15th, which is tomorrow. I'm filming this live on the 14th. Venus is going to trine, which we were talking about with part of this aspect, right? So now today it really works. So Venus in the sign Scorpio is trining at Neptune and Pisces, which is very intuitive. If you want a tarot reading, this is a great time to get a tarot reading. But this is very intuitive energy. This is deep socializing, and socializing in a very emotional kind of vibe or energy. Everyone's feeling each other. There's spiritual connections. There's deep emotions. Just like stuff that you will fantasize about, and it is kind of not reality coming into reality, but there is a consciousness of your fantasy. Okay. Heightened romance here too. Major love and dealing with love and magic. This is if you believe in magic, this is the day to really enhance that magic. Now if you're very creative, this is a great time to pull out the art, to pull out not arts and crafts, but creativity. You don't have to be an artist to be creative, right? If you're at work and you need creative juices flowing, this is it. This is going to make you really create poetry, dance, painting, aesthetics, beauty. If you're trying to redesign that kitchen, this is going to make you very creative and make it very beautiful, especially with that Venus aspect to it, right? And not necessarily a home for everyone, but you're dealing with Scorpio. So this could be also like home, I mean, making things beautiful that is very taboo. What I can think of is like being really sexy, and there's creativity with sexiness. Okay, so there's something with that. Now, there's compassion and empathy, especially in regards to relationships and psychic connections. So, if you're someone who wants to interpret dreams or want to know the future, this is also a great time to discuss something with a psychic, or maybe your psychic abilities will be enhanced, especially within your dreams. Deepened sense of compassion, and there's universal love. Neptune in Pisces is all about oneness. So, there is this oneness with love and unity with everyone and compassion. Okay. Now, be aware also, escapism may work for you this time. People drinking alcohol and getting together and having deep conversations, that could possibly happen. Just be careful not to overdo it, because we did have that Uranus aspect here, and that is still lingering. So maybe like surprise, everyone's drunk and you hurt yourself could happen, and you can ruin something that you really valuable, that you deem valuable. Be aware of that. But for the most part, it's very positive. It's very loving. Now, on the 17th, this is when we have the big kahuna. Okay. On the 17th, we have the full moon, first of all. Let me scooch it. Yeah, let me scooch it back here. Actually, oh, I said I would tell you the actual time. The full moon is going to be October 17th, and it's going to be at 4:26 a.m. If you're going to do any full moon magic, do it the day before, on the 16th. Okay, just letting you know if you're into that stuff. But the full moon is going to be at 24 degrees. And let me actually get more detail. But here is the full moon here. The moon will be here. Let me actually get it to the exact. Actually, let me just take you here. Okay, so this is the chart of the full moon, right? It's at 24 degrees. Here's your sun. Ignore the placement because this is not the horoscopes as of yet, but the moon will be conjunct Chiron. Chiron is all about healing of the self, okay? So there is a lot of repeating emotions dealing with healing of the self with this full moon. And also we're dealing with this grand cross, okay? So a grand cross is when you have an opposition and then you have another opposition applied here. So Mars is opposing Pluto at the same time it's squaring the full moon, at the same time it's squaring the sun, okay? So this is adding some juiciness for us as a collective and for our political leaders if you are in America, okay? Now, a grand cross consists of the four planets, like I said, and there's two oppositions, and it's making a square. So this here is making a square, okay? That is what you get. I should actually, so I can show you that it's making a square here. But I'll keep Chiron here so you guys can see here. This is making a great square here, okay? And this pattern that involves intense tension and conflict, that is what we have here. Now, whenever we have conflict and whenever we have tension, there is room for growth, okay, and transformation. Now, because we have this, usually a grand trine, right, is very positive and it flows easily. When you have a grand cross, because that is what we're dealing with this square, then you're dealing with active effort, okay? It's not easy. There is something that has to be integrated for a change. Now, not only is it a grand cross, but it is a cardinal grand cross, meaning that it's dealing with all of the cardinal signs. Cardinal signs are signs that have to get something started. So there's action, there's initiative. There is some type of challenge, basically, that is going to either be new or something that has to be started, and you don't want to start it, okay? This can cause some restlessness or making people being very impulsive. And we already had a little impulsivity yesterday with Uranus opposing that Venus. Just be aware of that. But there is some type of action, some type of initiative, some type of impulsivity that is happening here, and it's going to cause a struggle. Okay, so the planets, of course, that are involved are Mars. Mars is the planet of aggression. Mars is the planet of war. Mars is the planet of getting something started. Then we have Pluto. Pluto is all about transformation. Pluto is very deep. It is, both of these planets are the ruler of Scorpio energy, okay, which Venus is in that sign. So this could be still dealing with some relationships too. Venus Venus is in the sign Scorpio as this energy is happening. Now, now the moon, oh, did I say Pluto is dealing with transformation? Pluto is dealing with some psychological healing, things that are very taboo. It's going to also solve the mysteries and the secrets. So this challenge could be some secrets or something dealing with sex too. This is Mars is trying to pursue the sex. Pluto is the actual act of sex, just so you know. And then you have the sun, and the sun is about your ego. It shines bright. It is the brightest planet, right? It's going to highlight any of these things that are going on. This is very dark energy, and you have to go through the dark to see the light. And now there is light shining on it that doesn't quite want to be lit. Okay, that is what we have. Now the moon is all about our emotions. You're also dealing with mother father energy, male female energy. This is very masculine energy, just so you know. Yeah, and it's connected to this full moon is sitting there with the healer of you trying to get some healing, which you have been repeating all about yourself all along. Okay, so when you have any type of grand cross, there's intense energy, there's tension. There's a focus on these four things. So the focus of Cancer, which is home, mom, your past, okay, yeah, family, okay. So you have that, and then you have the focus of relationships. You have the focus of harmony. You have the focus of even could be dealing with law or a team or a woman. So these things could be relating to you in a very hard way. Now, when you have Capricorn, this is dealing with government, limits, restriction, something that's long term, or a very old father figure or father figure alone. Okay. And Aries is all about the self. Uno, one, first time. Okay. So these are the main themes, and they're all going to be challenged in some way, but they are the four focus points of this grind, of this grand cross. Okay. Also, if depending on your, which we will get into the horoscopes, I will discuss depending on the house how it really will affect you. Okay. But there's a need for balance with these two oppositions. This is an opposition. This is an opposition. So there is a need to balance it, and that will help resolve some problems. Okay. But remember, anytime there's a challenge, there's growth. And yeah. Now let's talk about the key themes of this full moon. It is at 24 degrees. When you have 24 degrees, the full moon, that is a Pisces degree. Okay. Whenever you have a Pisces degree, that energy is about endings. That energy is about chaos, confusion, delusions. Okay. Escapism. Could be dealing something with the feet too. So just know that this full moon, which is in the sign Aries, which is complete opposite of the Pisces. Pisces is at the bottom with the feet. Aries rules the head, right? So just know that something that may start may also end, which can also happen at the same time. Okay. So a new beginning is also closing. That could be happening. Okay. Or Neptune, 24 degrees, Pisces degree is also secrets. I just want you to be aware of that. And I do see that there is a challenge here with the planet that is all about the investigation and power. This planet is also about power and government, just so you know. Whenever I see that, that's how I just compute it in my head. But there is some type of investigation that could be happening with this 24 degrees of secrets, okay? But anytime you have a full moon in Aries, you're talking about taking initiative and embracing independence, releasing frustrations of old patterns because you're trying something new and something's bent up and now it's pent up and now there is new beginnings. A full moon in Aries is all about the self. It's about one, it's about your personal goals and having emotions to back up that personal goals. Okay. And then you want to balance yourself versus your relationships. Okay. This is all about the relationships. And you're like, wait a minute, but I need to emotionally focus on myself. Channeling fiery energy into that physical energy, because Aries is very physical and it's in the moon sign, which is about the emotions. So sometimes aggression could be caused from the emotion, just so you know that. Okay. Yeah, but just make sure you ground yourself during this full moon. Embracing boldness over and overcoming your fear also could be happening with this, because Aries is very bold and it's fearless, and now the emotions are involved to backing it up. So some people may be like, you know what, I'm going to shut this down and end this, and I'm going to be very bold with my emotions and speak my truth. Now, any rituals you want to do for a full moon in Aries is you want to set some bold intentions. You want to engage in some physical activity like hike, work out, yoga, do some strength training, releasing anything that you know you should be releasing for new beginnings. Go ahead and do that. Light a red candle. Mars is the ruler of Aries. Aries is representing red. So light a red candle for some action, for some passion. If there's anything physical or you want to be brave and strong as with, set the intentions, write it on a candle, write it on a letter, write it on a paper, or say it out loud and then light the candle. Okay. And it's very passionate energy too. Aries also is bold and brave. I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but just want you to know. Yeah, or you can meditate on self-empowerment, okay? Because it is about the self and setting some new goals or having new beginnings. You can do that. That is a ritual you can do with this full moon. Now, the full moon in Aries, let me talk about this moon alone squaring Mars and what is that going to look like. And remember, we have this attachment of healing and getting some self-healing along with your emotions, okay? So when you have the full moon in Aries squaring your emotions, you have tension between action and your emotional security, and you have heightened emotional reactivity and being impulsive. Okay, so some people could be, and Aries is very impulsive, just so you know. Aries is like do first and think last. Okay, and not only do you have that emotionally within the collective or maybe even affecting you personally, but now you have it scoring Mars, and Mars is already impulsive. Okay, because it's the ruler, it's the modern ruler of Aries. So both of these planets want to move really fast without thinking, with heightened emotional energy. Okay, so maybe you want to set some emotional boundaries. You may have some outbursts, there may be some impulsive reactions, there's could be some anger. People could be very defensive because you're all talking about your emotional self and you want to keep it hidden, and it can't be hidden here. So people could be very defensive, just so you know. There could be conflict between independence and nurturing roles, because Cancer is very nurturing, right? And it's being aggressive, and it wants to protect you, or maybe you want to protect someone and there's a challenge with that. Okay, be aware of that. Major family issues here for a lot of people: the self versus family, the self versus a family and a family unit or a family team or a family relationship. Just be aware of that. Okay, potential for family or domestic conflicts, need for physical outlets and emotional release. Again, work out, do some sports. If there is a team that you're on and everyone's physically aggressive, just clock it for the full moon. Be aware that there is a full moon in Aries, and just know that everyone's out here just being bold and courageous and saying some crazy stuff. Okay. Saying is not really part of this because Mercury's not a part of this, thank God. But the emotions and the physical aggression may come show more than the actual words. Okay. What else do we have? But use this energy for personal growth. This is a full moon right now, is a climax. It is really trying to show you what you need to do to have your new moon intention. So whatever is coming out during this full moon, take note of it. Stay grounded, but take note of it, and it will help you succeed in your new moon intentions. Okay, whatever the manifestations you're trying to achieve. Okay, practice patience and mindfulness. Do a lot of self-care. Do a lot of self-soothing practices. Meditate. Pause. Breathe. Maybe go sit in the car and then come back. Just remember to woo-ha. Okay. Now the full moon in Aries also is going to square that Pluto in Capricorn. And so when you have that, you are talking about not just impulsive or self-assertive energy, but now you have an intense aspect added to it, or you have transformation energy added to it, and you have power dynamics added to it, and you have healing, psychology, people trying to be deep and all up in your business, okay, or something that's very taboo and sexual is involved into it. So there's intensity and emotional deepness, power struggles or control issues, manipulation could be happening here. Breaking free from any limitations is what you may want to do, especially with that Aries full moon, because you are like, I need my freedom, I need to be myself, and this Pluto energy is trying to restrict me. And who could be restricting? It could be, again, a father figure, because that is what Capricorn represents. It could be something that is dealing with the material. Capricorn, people don't really say this, but it's all about the goat, the greatest of all time, because Capricorn is the goat, right? And when you are trying to be the greatest of all time, and you are basically putting yourself in like lockdown, because you're sitting here trying to be the greatest of all time, and you're human and you're going to make mistakes, and you have to be outside of this box, outside of this cage. If you look at the devil card, that is also representing Pluto, and when you see that, it's because you're in chains, because you are so worried about your self-image and your public career that you're not really being free and being your true self, which is very Aries. So that could be happening for a lot of people. Okay. You probably might be confronting some authoritative figures. You're talking about the police. Be aware of that. Please be aware of that. You're talking about anyone who restricts you in uniform, any type of old boss kind of figure. Okay, structures, systems, government, all that could be trying to confront you. Be aware of that. Facing and your transforming fears. Okay, so there are some hidden fears that may be addressed with this full moon. Okay, you're talking about unconscious patterns, unconscious fears. Things are very taboo that you put in that closet and you don't want it to come out. Well, Pluto's like, well, it's time to come out, especially with your emotions. That could be happening for a lot of people. Okay, so there's vulnerability. People may be feeling very powerless. There's intense emotion, and there's an energy of trying to reclaim yourself, your personal growth, your personal self. That's all happening. Now, Pluto also represents rebirth and transformation. So there could be some releasing of some toxic patterns because you are talking about the healing planet sitting here and you need some healing of the self and you're repeating this. So there could be a toxic pattern that you're trying to embrace some transformation here. And it's like you don't want to do it, but you got to shut down the old. Remember, it is in that 24 degrees. There has to be a closure of something in the past to make something for the future. You have to purge and rebirth, okay? Shedding toxic habits. Negative relationships or dynamics, because could be dealing with some negative relationships that needs to be cleansed out and that needs to be let go. And if you know this already, do one of the rituals that I discussed with the full moon. Set some intentions of releasing. Okay, you can even like take a bath. Before you get in a bath, you say the things you need to release, or a shower. That's great too, because you are dealing with some Cancer energy, which is water. Take the bath, take the shower, and then wash it away. Wash it, go down the drain. Okay, drain. Now, Pluto also is very obsessive. Okay, it's very intense and obsessive. So it could be someone that's very obsessed or fixated on you, or obsessive thoughts or uncompromising desires about what you are trying to drive and succeed in life. And emotionally, it could be extreming. It could be extreme emotionally, extremely. It could be causing some forced outcomes that you're trying to hold on too tightly to, because of Pluto. It's like, I don't want it to change, but you're like, I need it to change because I need something new. Again, fear and integrity seeing eye to eye. Fear and insecurity seeing eye to eye could be a thing here. Okay, it's all about rebirth, deep reflections, powerless energy, transformation, feeling stuck, feeling limited, feeling restricted, and with something new. Okay, but again, this is also could represent some emotional outbursts as well, so be aware of that. That is when we have the full moon. I want you guys all to be aware that that full moon could be very emotional. Okay, now also let me bring back my other planet here, Venus is going to enter that same day. Let me remove this chart. Venus is going to enter Sagittarius. Okay, it's going to enter Sagittarius on the same day of the 17th, while we have the full moon, just so you know. Now, when it first enters Sagittarius, wait, hold on 1 second. Alexa, stop. I have to base my brisket, you guys. I am making a brisket and it is slow cooking, and it takes 12 hours to slow cook, but I feel like it's going to take 5 hours. We'll see. It is a 6 pound brisket. I don't even eat beef, but it's for my family. Anyway, okay. So 0 degrees, just so you know, very potent energy. So this first day on the 17th and 18th, you're going to really be seeing these themes, and it's going to be very intense. Okay, because that's what the 0 degrees brings. Okay, first of all, Venus is all about love, relationships, beauty, aesthetic. It's what you value. It's dealing with material wealth. Okay, you're talking about finances, luxuries, what you invest in, things that bring you pleasure, like all the senses. You're talking about perfumes, right? That is like a very Venus energy. And food and touch and smell. I said smell, sensuality, right? Physical desires, sexual expressions. Okay, comfort, fine food, music, any sensory experience is what it's about. And it's about indulging in those things. And it's about harmony and balance and law. And it's about social connections and friendships. Venus is going to be the theme of the party. Okay, so whenever you're having a party, look at the Venus sign. Look where it is in the sky, the aspects, or listen to me and I'll tell you what Venus is doing that week. And that can help you plan a great party, okay? Venus is also about attraction and charm and being very diplomatic and cooperating. That's why it is one of the planets dealing with law. Now it's in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is about law too. It's about a venture, exploration, being optimistic, positivity, love of learning and philosophy. It's about freedom and being independent, honesty and direction, enthusiasm, being very passionate about something. There's very broadness, very broad mind, openness kind of energy. We're having trouble with X. There may be an issue on X. Okay, so I guess we'll remove X. Should we move? X, I guess, is having problems. Okay. All right. Sorry, X. Oh, and it looks like people were watching on X. Anyway, yes, I wonder if I can put X back on. Let's see if I can. Can X come back on? Okay. Now X, I guess, is, oh, no. X for some reason not working. Okay, anyway, sorry about that if you are still watching. Okay, so now Sagittarius is also being very open-mindedness. Okay, it's very broad, it's going to expand. You're talking about cultures, the world, diversity. It's a higher level of expansion. Okay, now it's also not just about expansion but spirituality and the higher meaning of life and what's your purpose of life. And it's very risk-taking, it's very adventurous. Okay, and now Venus is in that planet of adventure. Venus is in that planet of freedom. Venus is in that planet of higher meaning and expansion. Oh, Sagittarius is very generous too. It cares about the collective, it cares about the world, and that's why it's also dealing with law. So you have Venus, which is dealing with law, along with Sagittarius, which is dealing with law. So two planets that are all about law. Okay, just so you know. So the key themes of Venus in Sagittarius is that you're going to have desire for freedom and adventure, maybe within a relationship. Maybe you want to be in a relationship that expands your mind, and it doesn't have to just be a love relationship. This could be a friendship, a partnership, but you want to expand, or maybe you want to travel or see different cultures. It also is about being open-mindedness, right? So deep conversations and shared beliefs and exploring ideas and mental spirituality at a party. This could all be discussing and maybe having new perspectives on the things. Okay, very optimistic, positive in love and expansion, especially if you are dealing with relationships, especially when you are trying to find comfort. You're more willing to try new things with Venus and Sagittarius. Okay, now Sagittarius energy is very truthful and honest. So Venus in Sagittarius is going to seek the truth. It's going to be very authentic. So there's going to be a quest for truth, authenticity, transparency, and a genuine energy for being straightforward and being open and being honest. Okay, people will be expressing their true feelings for someone, or being honest and saying, like, I really, really enjoy this friendship, or you know what, this friendship needs to work on. Get ready for Venus and Sagittarius. Okay, also, but it's very diverse energy. So partying with people who you've never partied with, from different backgrounds or different people who had different beliefs. That is what this experience is: meeting people from different areas of life and exploring new cultural experiences and our alternative lifestyle too. Now it's very non-committal. So Venus in Sagittarius is like, what, I need my space. Okay, so we don't need to do everything together. So if you're a couple that does laundry together or go runs an errand together, maybe you guys want your space with this Venus in Sagittarius. Okay, but if you're in a new relationship, or if you're not in a new relationship, want to be, this energy is going to make people not want to settle down. Okay, it's like, I want to be flexible. Why are we putting a label on anything? That energy can happen. Okay, but it's very generous, it's very warm, it's very caring, it's very sharing. Okay, also very spontaneous energy of affection. Okay, now How can you make the most of Venus in Sagittarius? You can try new experiences, explore new places, meet new people, broaden your horizons. It's a time for honesty and being open, okay? So be really authentic and be direct, but it's okay because these are your true thoughts and your true desires, and you want to be honest about things, okay? It's at the same time very positive and optimistic. There's gratitude, there is a hopeful outlook, and very spontaneous moments. At the same time, you could probably overcommit to parties, be aware of that. But it's very respectful with independence, or be respectful with your independent, okay? Say that you want your freedom, and maybe if you're clingy, this is really great because it helps you release that clinginess. But you can say, let's try something new and try to do something on our own without being so enmeshed. This is the energy to do it, okay? Celebrate diversity again. So this is usually around this time, Venus. And my daughter is a Girl Scout. Both of my daughters were Girl Scouts, and there's always World Day. It's called something World Day. But usually this happens around Venus and Sagittarius, just so you know, when people have those cultural world activities. Let me know if you join one during this. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the week, not the week. I'm going to talk about Venus and how it's going to hit all these planets while it's in the sign Sagittarius. Let me bring up the planets real quick. Okay. When it's in the planet, when Venus is in the planet, when Venus is in a sign Sagittarius, okay, October 22nd, and I won't, I'll actually just say it because sometimes I get confused when I have to press the buttons. Anyway, but October 22nd, Venus is going to, where are my notes? Why is it not up here? Oh, the nodes. I didn't put the nodes back. I'm like, what? Why don't I see it hitting anything? Okay, here we go. So Venus is going to trine the north node, which is going to sextile the south node. And when you have Venus in relationship to anything dealing with the nodes, you're talking about your fate and your future and what you need to release. Okay, so there is an alignment with you socially or what you naturally attract that's going to help you with your future and with your purpose in life. Okay, now on the 27th, Venus is going to square Saturn, and when you have it squaring Saturn, challenges here, okay? Emotional intimacy, financial stability here too, okay? Yeah, so the person who wants to party is like being restricted from some sort, and you cannot see why. And this is something that is being redone or repeated over and over and over. Okay, so just be aware of that. This Saturn square is dealing with limitations. Okay, and it could be dealing with limitations of you really expanding. Now on November 3rd, we have Venus is going to oppose Jupiter, and Jupiter is in the sign Gemini and it's retrograding. So things that you naturally attract, the words are not being said correctly. This is really optimism or optimistic behavior, and maybe it's too optimistic. This may not be bad though. You could be overcommitting, but there is this energy of two great planets that are very positive and are not seeing eye to eye. Could be indulgent, could be a desire for excessiveness. So just be aware of that. Okay. Now on the 7th, then Venus will be quincunx Uranus. So this is something new that's quite different, and it's making you feel uncomfortable when it comes to your relationships or a partnership. And it wants to break free from the normal routine, or it wants to adapt, and it's very spontaneous, and it wants to be independent. And you're like, I'm not ready for the freedom. So be aware of that, and it's going to make a discomfort of some sort. And then on the 9th, Venus will square Neptune. And when you have Venus squaring Neptune, there is some blurred boundaries, confusion, illusions, maybe in relationships. Maybe there's escapism and you don't want to deal with the relationship. There's deception of some sort of kind when it comes to your boundary, not when it comes to your boundaries, but when it comes to your relationships and boundaries, when it comes to love of some sort. Okay. Now, Venus on the 11th will then enter the sign Capricorn. Before it enters Capricorn, we will have this intense energy of all the honesty coming out, of you really expanding, or you really wanting your freedom within a relationship. It will be like, I have to hurry up and get this intense energy out of me before on the 11th it really goes into the sign Capricorn. And when it gets into Capricorn, it's committed, it's back to being practical. Okay. So complete opposite, and it's thinking long term. It's not just like, here, let's have fun kind of energy. So yeah, that is what we have with Venus and the dates of Venus in a sign Capricorn. And then lastly, on the 21st, which is very positive, on the 21st here, we have Mercury, which finally Mercury has entered the party this week. So our clarity and our thought and our speaking is now very positive with Saturn. This is a great energy on the 21st, and you might be feeling a little bit before, of deep, serious thinking and really being thinking about the details of things, being very fixated on something, really solving that mystery. If you're into conspiracy theories, put on your aluminum foil hats, because this is a day that can really get it going. Okay. But it's very focused thinking and digging beneath the surface and having a practical mindset. It's very enhanced focus energy. It's very disciplined. Practical approach to any emotional matters could be happening here in discussions. Opportunity for healing and release too, because you're dealing with Pisces, you're dealing with Scorpio, emotions and healing, and really getting deep and having a safe place. And it's very heavy feelings, but positive with dealing with it. Okay. Constructive conversations and clear communications happen here. Insight into long-term plans and goals, increased patience and perseverance. Okay. So that is what we have for our weekly transits. Now, before we get into the politics, I would love for everyone to thumbs up and like what you see so far. That really helps me out. Okay. Oh, yes. Did you guys thumbs up and like the video? You better have. Okay. Tomorrow's video, it will be on the horoscopes on the full moon. It will be on Venus and what we are going to be dealing with Venus and Sagittarius personally. But the full moon will be big. Now, today we are going to talk about the politics though. Let me pull up Miss Kamala. We'll do her first. And we are going to see now. Kamala is the biggest one. Why did it go? Why did it not go to? Okay. Kamala is the biggest one here. Oops. What am I doing? Hold up. Wait a minute. I find that she's the biggest one because when we're dealing with this full moon, let me go back to the 17th. And that is what we're talking about, the full moon and how it affects these candidates here. Okay. I find that Kamala's is the biggest. And then after Kamala is Tim Walz. Now, why is Kamala's the biggest? Well, first of all, let me get exact. Actually, should I just do the full moon? That's what we'll do. We'll just take it to the full moon. Okay. If you see, the full moon is sitting on top of Kamala's full moon in Aries, and then it's sitting there opposing. You know, her birthday's coming up. Her birthday's coming up October 20th. But 2 days before the birthday, she's dealing with some emotions. Emotions. Okay. Yeah. So her solar return is kind of intense. Okay. With the full moon in Aries currently conjunct both her natal moon and sun. She's got a lunar return. She's got a solar return. A lot of self-expression, a lot of personal growth, a lot of culmination and emotional cycles. Ooh, I should say on her birthday what her chart of the year is going to be. So we'll discuss that in maybe a TikTok. I don't do TikTok, but it'll be on here. Okay. But there's conflict between her being independent versus her partnership within maybe her home or maybe her safety net. I'm thinking this is something dealing with Tim. This is something dealing with Tim. This is her and herself in a party, right? And now she's trying to express herself, but I mean, this could be a romantic relationship. Okay, I'll put that out there so you can understand what astrology represents. But I'm thinking this represents Tim Watts, so that's why I went over to Tim Watts' chart. Okay, but this is could be potential for a family or domestic conflict within America because she is the VP, and this could be representing something as her job as a vice president because Libra is dealing with a partnership or some sort. But there could be some transformation here because you are dealing with these two planets that are also squaring her sun and her moon. It's not good for her. You're talking about her finances, not getting along with her emotions and her ego. And there's something with power here, double power with the restrictions of the government that is not quite getting along and challenging with her emotions of self and how she is and doing something new and starting something new again with her partnership or her team or her or her being a female. Okay, there's amplified emotional awareness or reflection. She's reevaluating maybe her personal identity or her personal goals. She is got to let something go for a completion, just like we had to do as a collective. Strengthening. Oh, actually, I forgot to put, I always forget to put who we talking about. Who we talking about, Willis? Strengthening her personal boundaries and independence, balancing self-expression and relationship dynamics, embracing new beginnings with passion. Now, because we're dealing with this in her seventh house, right? And her seventh house. Oh, wait, no, before I talk about that in the seventh house, let me see. Do I have any extra notes? Okay, no, before I talk about Venus, I do want to say that this Pluto is challenging not only her sun, but also Mercury and how she thinks and expresses herself, right? There is some type of restriction here. The eighth house is dealing with joint ventures, joint money, taxes, loans. Just want you to know all of it that it's representing. There is something that is being restricted here that is dealing with power and obsession, could be dealing with something that's taboo, and it is restricting and it's causing a challenge. Now, I wouldn't say restricting, but this is what represents, could be the government, and it's causing a challenge with her leadership. I mean, her partnership. And that makes me think it's Tim Watts. And she's like, oh, I need some healing with myself, be with myself. And constant relationships and networking is a major thing for her, just so you know. And she has this South Node here, and the South Node needs to be released with relationships. She needs to release this theme of Libra. It needs to be constantly dealing with partnerships and relationships. Anyway, but Venus is going to enter that seventh house. So this is what makes me think that this is something dealing with her partnership. This is dealing with Tim Watts, because Venus is going to enter here, and now it's going to be all about the expansion and the honesty about her partnership. Now, this also could be dealing with Trump, just so you know. Enhance public appeal when Venus enters her seventh house. She's strengthening her alliance, or there is a focus on her alliance. The support of her partnership could be bigger from whatever this challenge is for this Aries full moon. It could be bigger, or maybe her support for her enemy, which is Trump, could be bigger. Okay. What else? Positive media, public relationships, public relations by Cash. Opportunities to address relationships or her partnerships or her VP or her team could be happening here. Now, maybe she's over reliant. Maybe there is like the popularity, maybe it's too much. That could be happening. Okay. Popularity or a tendency to seek approval may be causing some issues, and is very superficial. Or people pleasing could be big when Venus enters the seventh house. Okay. Over promising, that could be happening. And people are like, let's be honest. Well, that's the song. Unless to be honest. I don't know the song. Anyway, but that could be happening. Inconsistency and impulsive decision making, because that Venus is like, I can't decide, I can't decide, I can't decide. Back and forth. Struggles with commitment and responsibility. Possible misunderstandings in a public persona. Issues with her VP and our support for Trump. I just see support for Trump here when Venus enters there, just so you know. Okay. Now, Venus is going to come and it's going to conjunct the South Node. When you have it conjunct the South Node, there is a releasing of a partner, a releasing of something. Okay, I said releasing of a partner. It could be letting go of Tim, or it could be a passing of a Trump. Just so you know, okay? Maybe it's revisiting a past alliance or a past relationship. Maybe it's releasing outdated values or partnerships or beliefs. Maybe it's challenging around comfort zones because the South Node is what you're comfortable with, and she's comfortable with partnerships, okay? But it needs to be released or something that she's familiar, and it's dealing with Sagittarius. So releasing maybe her being a lawyer, that could be a thing. But it relies on what is familiar. The support is going to be like, oh, let's really rely on this. So conjunctions are good or bad or both, and but what I do know is that they're strong. So maybe falling back into old habits when it comes to law, because Sagittarius is all about law expansion and big things. Okay, potential for past names reappearing in a public could be happening too. Okay, but she could be reevaluating, she could be restructuring. That is what we have. Now let me go for Tim. And I do know, I just want to say quickly that in the current news, okay, we do have rumors. The streets are speaking, okay, and when I say the news, we're talking about X, okay. In the streets, we got that the people are saying that Tim is has some sexual allegations that are happening. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm just letting you know what the streets are saying. And someone came out and said this. It hasn't been proven, but this makes me think that this could be related to that. Now we have this full moon in Aries with Tim Watts here. We don't have a time for Tim, okay? So things are not as fun, just so you know, okay? But with Tim Watts, it could be a boost of confidence. He could be very charismatic. When you have this Aries energy sitting on top of that Jupiter, Jupiter is very positive. So he could be feeling good, or he could be overly emotional, or things from his past that are new are starting up to come up again. Okay. That is what this all represents. And there needs to be some healing. Remember, this is something repeated. Okay. But yet something new, but something needs to end. Okay. Now 24 does represent the secrets. Remember, I said the full moon is 24 degrees, Pisces degree, that could represent some secrets. Expansion of new goals, increased visibility and public support, emphasis on integrity and authenticity. Yeah, what else do we have? He could be overconfident, could be very impulsive. He could be exaggerating something, struggle with boundaries, increased risk of controversy is definitely what you get with this, right? Because he's got the blunt statements, he's got the honesty that could be coming out. Something with law could be big happening with this, just so you know, with this full moon. Remember, it's squaring Mars, and Mars is dealing with the past. So something from his past. This could be something that is sexual. It could very much be that. And then you have Pluto sitting on top of his moon. Okay. So let's get with that, because he could be relying on luck too much. And that's what that Jupiter represents. And now it's like, no, 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 no. You've been relying on that too much. Now we are going to move on. Maybe there is a delayed in gratification that could be happening, or delayed in something, or maybe he's been arrogant. But when you have that Pluto aspect, it's going to be cause the mystery, the dirtiness, the darkness to come out into the light. Okay, something that he values. Increased pressure of emotional stress, conflict between his individuality and a public perception could be coming out, because the moon is who you are deep down. And now Pluto is like, no, 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 we're gonna bring it out. Okay. He could be rigid, or maybe there's a resistance of something, and the Pluto's like, no, it's got to change. Okay. Just be aware that challenges between his personal life and his public duties, learning to integrate independence and accountability, all that could be happening. Pluto conjunct oh wait, what was that I was explaining? Yeah, his moon. Oh, I was saying how Aries is squaring the moon. Now, Pluto on top of the moon is going to have some type of transformation, some type of change, some type of control, some type of power over what he has secretly deep-seated fears could be happening, or his insecurities. This is very pessimistic. This is also very I care about my image, all that kind of energy. And Pluto's like, oh no, no, we're gonna bring that out. Okay. Yeah, so just be aware of that. The privacy and solitude. Pluto is like, no, let's get the darkness. Let's bring it out to the light. Okay. Just so you know. And Mars sitting there opposing that is going to be aggressive and it's going to bring stuff from the past, just so you know that. Okay, that is what we have for Tim. Let's see how that plays out for him. Let's pull, you know what, let me pull a card for them. Let's pull a card for first. Ooh, Kamala. Cards for Kamala. She needs to not say anything. Don't speak up, Kamala. This is for Kamala. Oh, let me pull this here. Let me, so you guys can see it in full. Kamala should not say anything. Don't say anything. I feel like you guys, hold on. Let me. It's too bright. Now the light. Can you see it better? Yeah, I think so. This is the Four of Swords. Okay, Four of Swords is saying, rest your tongue. Okay, there's new messages coming, and this could be from a young person coming your way, and things are going to be moving fast. Okay, now for Tim, we'll pull 3 cards for Tim too. For Tim, we have his community and stability here. There is a celebration of some sort, but that does represent stability. But here we have something that we can't see. Okay, the truth and the lie is what we have here. 2 stories, and the stability with 2 stories, just the community with 2 stories, and in regards to a family, in regards to relationships, in regards to blissfulness. Okay, let me pull, because I want an oracle card too. Higher self, him being his higher self, him being his higher self. I feel like something's going to come to the light here. We'll see. I mean, they keep saying that, what's her name, because this says higher self, like you know what, let me read it. 43. Let me read it. 43 for Tim Waltz. Okay, you are now locking in your higher version, higher self. The universe is waiting to create through you. Being your true self, there is a new cycle, there is a new you. That is what that card represents. So let's see what this newness is, which is very Aries new moon, full moon. Yeah, anyway, okay, but let's talk about Trump. That is what we have for Kamala. Kamala and them, it doesn't look that good, just so you know. Okay, for Kamala and Walt, it's not the best, just so you know. Okay, now for Trump, we have something interesting for him too. Trump, this full moon in Aries. Do I still have this full moon here? Now, the full moon is not touching anything in his chart, right? We do have the sun sitting here kind of close to Jupiter, but what is really going on is that this Mars in Cancer is sitting on top of here. So this full moon is squaring some limitations and some secret support or secret relationship or secret lover, okay, that we cannot quite see. The 12th house represents secrets and things we cannot see. I just want you to understand. So this full moon happening in that 12th house could be struggles with emotional vulnerability or some kind of control. Are there some hidden challenges or public image hidden challenges? I know I said public, but it's something because he's running for president, but we cannot see it, or there is a secret. This also can represent some secret enemies too. Challenges with balancing himself and the independence and responsibilities, because Saturn represents responsibilities, structures, limitations, a very pessimistic kind of energy. Potential for frustrations or delays in his campaign could be happening during this full moon. Public scrutiny and concerns over him being transparent, because you have that 12th house matters, and it's like you're being too secretive. That could be happening. Heightened, very emotional sensitivity with that 12th house, or a lot of pressure with that 12th house, or repressed anger or frustration could be happening because you have that 12th house energy. But there is something here with Mars in Cancer, or something with the people who keep trying to shoot him. I mean, I think they said it was a 3rd attempt. I don't know. I didn't research that. We'll get into that tomorrow. But this is on top of some delays or restrictions for him in regards to his emotional self or something new with himself. and his partner VP, who is a great communicator and keeps talking, right? So that is what you have. Now, Mars in Cancer conjunct his Saturn is intensified emotional tension, some power struggles, challenges with authority, challenges with the government, restriction again, repress, restriction, frustration. All that's happening, some deep-seated fears and insecurities, obstacles. Saturn can represent obstacles. So there's obstacles and it's causing him to be emotional. Potential for aggression and reactive behavior. I mean, he's got major Leo energy anyway, so that's nothing new. But changes in his relationship or personal life could be happening because you do have that Pluto aspect here, and Pluto is also opposing. Now, remember, I keep saying something with his health. Something with his health could be a secret and giving him some limitations here. And he's being really aggressive about it, and this could be a health issue from his past. I'm just telling you that's what this all could represent. Now let me just tell you what JD is, and then I'll pull a card for both of them. Now JD, we do have a time, and for JD, wasn't that fun, the full moon? That's why I'm saying this full moon is either personally affecting Trump alone, and the full moon also really affecting Tim Walz and really affecting Kamala. Okay, so for sure. Now the full moon is opposing his Pluto in Libra, and that full moon in Libra, I mean, that full moon opposing your emotions and your ego with some power struggles that could be happening. Maybe with Trump, maybe he is, because this represents his partner, okay, his leader. That could be not his leader, but his partnership, VP, president. That could be representing that, and there is some restriction here, and he finds value in his partnerships. Okay, just so you know. But whatever it is causing some tug of war of emotions. Okay, yeah, or something from the past dealing with himself, and he needs some healing, and this is all about power. Okay, now he's got this North Node here in Aries in that 8th house, so he needs to in his lifetime get some power, not in his lifetime, within his year, gain some power. He's doing what he's doing. Yeah, anyway, but transformation could be happening. This also could represent a death of your partner that could be happening here. Yeah, that is what he, if he values Trump, this could be like a death, a rebirth of a leader or something like that. Not a leader, but a partner. Power struggles with his emotions. There could be some legal partnership or relationship issues here too. That's pretty much most of it. He does have some aggression towards this transformation within his political party. Or maybe the political, because the 11th house could represent Republicans. So not Republicans, Democrats, because they're currently in charge of the 11th house. That could be happening here. Here we have the transformation in this 5th house of his self-expression or him being a leader. All that is challenging this planet here, which represents something that he values, the power that he values. Okay, not as strong, but it's still going to affect him, just not affect him hitting as many planets as it's hitting Kamala and as it's hitting Tim Walz. Tim Walz is really going through it with this full moon, just so you guys know. Let me pull cards for Mr. Trump here, since I pulled 3, and then we'll do JD Vance too. Okay, so he's feeling insecure. Okay, Trump is feeling insecure. There's a duality here that he has to balance. Maybe it's something that we can't see, maybe it's something that we can't know, and yeah, but there's a insecurity with a choice. Maybe his choice is JD Vance. But whatever it is giving Cancer energy. Mars is in charge of Cancer. It's giving Cancer energy. Also, the moon is in charge of our Mars right now, so emotions are very strong. This is the Chariot card. It represents our emotions. It represents moving forward. So there's this back and forth he has going on with moving forward. I don't know what it is. It's 12th house energy. We can't quite see it, but there is some type of insecurity there. Now, if we deal with JD Vance here, which I don't think we have that much going on with JD Vance. JD Vance is, yeah, he's moving forward. He has no problems moving forward and expanding and starting a new adventure. He is basking in some glorious energy here. This is the Empress. This is also dealing with Libra. It's dealing with Venus. So partnerships. He's moving forward with partnerships, and he is still out here saying his speeches. Okay, he doesn't seem affected at all. He's out here researching, saying his truth, all that's going on. And yeah, so that is what I have for our presidents and our political things and the current events. Actually, I will do the horoscopes tomorrow and I will do current events tomorrow. Then I've already videotaped my elections, the results for the elections, what I have predictions. That's already videotaped. I just have to edit it and put it out there. I might do that tonight. Okay, so look forward to that if you want to know who's going to win. My predictions are Kamala, even though we have this full moon going on, which I knew would affect in a big deal. But yeah, that's what we have. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow for the horoscopes. See you tomorrow. Bye.